1 is thinking, 2 is behavior, 3 is lifestyle, section 4 is activating trigger, and section 5 is assertiveness. I'll repeat it once again for all faculty members. Section 1 is thinking, section 2 is behavior, section 3 is lifestyle, section 4 is activating trigger, and section 5 is assertiveness, right? So we all have noted that particular thing. Now let's come to the scoring part. For each of these sections, you have to do a subtotal differently. Like, let me give you an example. If you have would have given 5 for each of the statement in first section, so the maximum would be 25. Similarly, it goes for other sections also. So your total will come out of 25 for each section. In that soft copy or document, in that document, you can write it on the one side for each section how much you have scored, whether it is thinking, behavior, lifestyle, activating trigger, or assertiveness. Total for each section should be done separately. It should not be a grand total of all the 5 sections. Once you're done with this, please type it in the chat box or give me some responses so that I'll come to know that you are done with that total part. Thank you, Dr. Tasneem, for sharing your score. Otherwise, you can keep the scores to you yourself itself. We have received around 5-6 responses. Faculty members, they are done with the totaling part. Now, if you remember the legend, yesterday also we made 80% as the right benchmark for any particular thing. So if you are done with that totaling, and out of 25, if you have scored minimum 20 or above 20, so 20 out of 25 is 80%. So if you have scored 20 or above 20, then that means you are strong in that particular area. Let it be in terms of thinking, behavior, lifestyle, activating trigger, or assertiveness. And again, if you remember the second scale, if it is between 60 to 80% that you have scored in any of the sections, then that means that is the area where you have to work further on that. And if you read those particular statements, that itself is a solution or a ready reckoner for you to change your thinking, behavior, lifestyle, activating trigger, or assertiveness. Now let's get further on this particular part and let's take it one by one when we talk about thinking, behavior, lifestyle, activating trigger, and assertiveness. So in terms of changing our thinking, we have to first work on reframing. So when we talk about reframing, we all understand we have to reevaluate or interpret the same situation in a different way, which will help us to view things in a different light and less stressfully. And in terms of the positive thinking part, if you remember present focus positive thinking that we spoke about yesterday, present focus positive thinking can help us to focus on strengths, survive more efficiently with our current experiments, or decrease our stress and potentially increase our life fulfillment. And the greater extent of future focused thinking, on one hand, may add greater worry and anxiety to your life, whereas the past focused thinking may lead to greater depression also if you are going too much into the past. So the state of present focused positive thinking can help us stay more present, seek out the positive, make a change, and stop generating emotions about things that we have passed or that haven't been happened yet. So we should not think of those things which are not in our particular control. Now, in terms of changing our particular behavior, we have to work on 5 different things. I'll not talk about assertiveness here because we'll talk about assertiveness separately when we take the 2 different A's. We have to become more organized in nature. So for becoming more organized in nature, if you all might have studied about, or if you all know about Eisenhower priority metrics, we have to jot down our particular task in four different quadrants. First quadrant should talk about what are the tasks which has to be done right now, which are of most high priority. Second quadrant should talk about those particular tasks which can be scheduled later in the day. And third quadrant should talk about those tasks which can be delegated to somebody else in the team. And fourth quadrant should be those unimportant activities, even if we don't do it in the day, should not make any change in our particular, you can say, uh, uh, accomplishments of those particular tasks. Second is ventilation is very important. We all understand if ventilation is not there, we'll start getting filled up with negative things in nature, and somehow it will start getting reflected in our particular nature. Humor again is a very important part, and it is very important to divert or distract. Distract is not the right word. To get diverted from the normal things that we are doing in the professional life or personal life. So it's very important to unplug from those daily routines, get diverted for some time, and then get back to that particular work. In terms of changing the lifestyle, I'm sorry I'm going a bit fast. I'm not asking you questions here because a lot of questions have been asked in my previous, you can say, one session and last half session in the morning also. In terms of changing our lifestyle, we have to take control of our particular diet. So I'll not go further into this because we, as matured people or experienced people, we understand what kind of diet is more beneficial for us. And smoking and alcohol is written here, but let me specify it very clearly with you. Excess of anything is bad. Even if we are having excess tea, also that is also equivalent to having bad lifestyle. So even if you are smoking or taking alcohol, also that should be in a limited quantity because that also sometimes reduces stress. Exercise is another way. Sleeping for at least 8 hours in the night should be in the place. Leisure and relaxation also helps us in changing our particular lifestyle, which helps us in managing the stress in the right way. Now, talking about the activating trigger, if we all remember, when we are talking about activating trigger, we all understand that activating trigger has a deep impact on the beliefs in which we talked about thoughts, actions, perceptions on when we take meanings of different things. So, if you have a right positive activating trigger, our belief system will become positive, and ultimately that will help us in reaching the right consequences, or you can say with the right kind of performance will come. And last is assertiveness. Any idea what are the benefits of being assertive in nature? Somebody who is very assertive in nature, what can be the benefits of that? What can be the benefits of a person who's assertive in nature?
Sir, effective communication.
Effective communication, ma'am. Very right. And
Sir, more self confidence.
very right. Their self confidence is very high. They know their own areas, how they have to express their feelings, and they know the, you can say, limit up till which they can talk to the other person. So they'll not enter the comfort zone of the other people. There are some other benefits also because this becomes the base for that PBL. People who are assertive in nature, they have higher self-esteem. They are less self-conscious, less anxious, and they appreciate themselves as well as others very easily. And they also have a feeling of self-control. So these are the things that basically makes them to means very confident in handling any particular situation in a very good way, and that is the reason they have a high, you can say, a positive activating trigger, which ultimately helps them to handle thinking, behavior, as well as lifestyle. Because as I already said, if the thinking is not right, that will reflect in our actions. If the thinking is right, obviously the actions would be much more positive in nature and we'll get the right kind of results. So I'll end up with one slide which sums up this Tabla approach. And I'm skipping the stress management techniques because we all know apart from this technique, we sometimes we have to go for other alternatives, which can be conventional medicine, counseling, meditation, yoga, acupuncture, or homeopathy also, depending on the kind of cases that doctors may receive. If tabla is not acting on that particular thing, there are alternative ways that people should go for in order to relieve their stress. And lastly, for tabla approach, I'll say change your thinking, behavior, and lifestyle by becoming more assertive in nature, making your activating trigger more positive, which will ultimately help you in increasing your ambiguity threshold. So thank you so much, Kamal. This is all from my side, and